Software Private Limited. Today's topic of the webinar is, you can guess, why can't you find your assets? As an education institute, you have got thousands of assets, right? And quite often, even at home or at office or a large institute, we face a difficulty of locating the asset. So this entire webinar of about 30 minutes is how to address this specific problem, which will make you do the asset management in a much better way. Okay, just a little bit background about ourselves. The EasyLip Software Private Limited and Easy One Systems have been providing the software for the education institutes for last 25 years. We are very thankful to about 700 customers all over Karnataka, other states in India, as well as some of the customers outside India too. Especially the 300 customers are using our EasyLip 6.4a cloud version or Easy One 7.2a cloud version to manage their education institutes. And one of the modules in this is a detailed asset management software. Okay. So in this webinar of 30 minutes, we are going to go over the kinds of assets you have got, what are the challenges you face, and how Easy One is going to make your life much easier. Okay. So let's go over in detail what kind of assets you have got. Take an example, you are an education institute, or let's make it a, let's say you are a university, a large university. You have got multiple institutes under you. You have got huge amount of real estate, right? Spread over in multiple cities. You have got land and you have got some buildings. In some places, you have erected temporary structures. So huge assets you have got. Then there are various classrooms, right? Each of the classroom has got table, chair, boards, and so on, a few hundred of them. Then you have got multiple departments, physics, chemistry, mathematics, anatomy. If it happens to be a medical college, there are quite a few laboratories over there. And you have got very expensive laboratory items over there. Then you have got the computer equipments like computers, servers, networking devices, and many more. So each of the veranda or the hall area, reception area will have a beautiful desk. Sofas will be there, TVs are fitted, and so many of them. And of course, you have a library, multiple libraries, and each of the library has got the books. Of course, the books are managed by the librarian, and probably you have got EasyLip software to manage your library assets, especially the books. But your library also has many more assets. That includes the tables, the chairs, racks, projectors, and many, many more. So these are the kind of assets you have in education institute, which runs into sometimes even crores of rupees of amounts. So it's very important that you implement a necessary system which will help manage this whole thing easily. If you do not have that kind of systems, what kind of challenges you face? Let's see. The very first challenge that you are going to face is finding what is available where. Suddenly if you want a projector, you may be at a loss to see where is that projector, who has taken it, where is it kept, right? And if you have a requirement of a, let's say, very less used asset, which is used only once or twice in a year, and if you don't have a proper tracking system, definitely it will be a lot more difficult to find where that it is. So that is the first challenge you face. The second challenge you face is, of course, you all are tracking these assets in a pen and paper notebooks. That's understandable because, the computerization started only a few decades ago, right? Before that, you had assets and all those assets were tracked in the ledgers. But as the volume grows, now either your ledgers will become much, much bigger or you stop tracking those things. So especially the things like a chair, thousands of chairs you have got. You may not be able to track those things if you don't have a computer system, right? So tracking this manually is an enormous difficult task. So at that time, you will just only count, okay, we have got 1,000 chairs of this kind without tracking individually. Then there is no central record. If somebody wants to know, okay, how many assets are there in each of these rooms, very difficult to find out. because everything is spread out in the different ledgers, books, right? And now take the example of the things that require maintenance. Let's say you have got lots of generators, and each of the generator requires a maintenance, right? And each of the electrical fan that requires a periodic inspection, maintenance, or let's say the air condition you take. Fan may not require, but air condition definitely does require maintenance. So if you don't have a proper schedule, you will notice there is a problem only when the problem becomes big or the problem is faced. So at that time, you are forced to face the inconvenience. The next challenge you face is asset loss. Because if you do not keep a track of what asset is where and periodically do not do the stock verification, all of a sudden when you need it, you may not find the asset at that place. So that is the risk of having the loss of the assets or misplacement. Then when that happens, right, you place an order to procure a new one. As a result, you will end up with some items in excess and some items in shortage. So the entire procurement process becomes affected because when you are in urgency, you end up paying higher amount. So the whole cycle of asset management becomes very, very difficult when you are relying everything on a pen and paper. So that's why it's very important that you upgrade your inventory system to easy one ERP asset management system. So let's go in detail about what kind of facilities you can expect in an easy one kind of asset management system. The very first one is asset categorization. In the next slide, we will go in detail about what kind of categories you have in the assets. Because now everything is in the centralized database, right? You have got the real-time asset tracking. You get to know, okay, what is available in what room. And if you want, let's say the projectors, you have got, let's say about 20 projectors in your entire institutes. You can clearly know what rooms have what projectors. And because it's also linked with that maintenance system, you will also know, okay, which system, which projector is not working, which projector is having the difficulty, right? All of that you will be able to find it out. Then, if you have implemented the RFID, you will even get the movement register also. Automatic updates will come whenever the asset moves out. So you have the system of procurement. Then there is the vendor management, maintenance scheduling. This is one of the most important things wherein you can clearly schedule the maintenance for all your assets, including the tables and chairs, because these tables and chairs are always found to be in good shape whenever there is a preventive maintenance happen once in a quarter or once in 6 months, right? You can maintain that schedule in the system. So the whole life cycle of the asset, I'm going to go over the what is the life cycle of the asset in the next slide. Even that can be managed. Yeah. Then you have got the reporting analytics. What it tells, because you are investing lakhs of rupees in procuring the certain assets, the system will tell you how often the asset is used. Of course, that means that you will be able to do a better cost control and you will be able to do a whole tracking in a much, much, much better way. Okay, we talked about asset categorization and classification, right? Let's see, what are the categories of the assets? So first is the real estate. Then you have the furniture fixtures, laboratory, IT asset, library resources, maintenance equipment. All of these in the system, you will be able to categorize. And the beauty is that you can build even in hierarchy also. Okay, so for example, you built under the real estate category. You have the lands. Under the lands, you can maintain, okay, the one that can be readily used, one that have a building, one that are not ready to be used right now, one that have been leased out to somebody else, or whatever. Similarly, for the buildings, you can maintain temporary structure, permanent structure, or the structure that requires rebuilding, or anything like that. You can maintain a hierarchy of these different assets. You can classify them the way you want it. And especially when you are a large organization and the number of assets runs into thousands, or if not, or otherwise even tens of thousands or lakhs of items, this kind of categorization and reporting becomes very important actually. And when it comes to the IT assets, the maintenance and the replacement cycle becomes even more important. Because quite often people forget buy a computer or a server and keep it. But each server has got a lifespan of 3 to 5 years, right? That means there is a replacement to be done. So you need to plan that. The software system can send you the reminder. So that's kind of asset categorization, classification, all of that you can do in your assets register. Okay, what is the life cycle of an asset? Let's see. The very first step in the life cycle of an asset is identification of what needs to be purchased. Let's call it the purchase process. So the different departments raise an indent saying that, okay, I need this, I need this, I need this. And it goes into the department head, goes into the principal's office, then the management, and you decide what needs to be bought. Then you have the whole purchase cycle wherein you call RFPs. You have RFP, request for proposal, send it to the vendors, vendors send the quotation, you do a quotation comparison, finally issue an order. So that is the whole process of purchasing the asset. The second life cycle is asset records. What it means, as soon as the asset comes, you are going to register an asset. You are probably going to print a barcode, paste it to that. You got a printer that has come, laptop that has come, or a mobile that has come. You paste a barcode with the name of the asset, who it belongs to. If it is lost, who should be replaced? Who should be informed? All that information you are going to put it, and this becomes an asset of your organization. So asset registration, then you are going to send it to the different departments. You are going to make a note of what is it exactly, that location where this asset is there, right? So in this asset records, you maintain as much granular information as possible. Recently I visited one of the university, and the number of chairs in that organization exceeds 20,000. You can imagine 20,000 good chairs over there, right? So if you don't have a system in place, right, it becomes very, very difficult to find out how many chairs are in a perfect shape, how many requires a handle to be replaced, how many require the total overhaul, and how many are placed in the different rooms, departments, locations, and so on. Imagine this volume, right? So this asset records makes the job of asset allocation to departments, buildings, locations very easy to locate, allocate, as well as track. Then the next one is the asset stock verification. Because just like the librarians do the books stock verification annually, right? It's highly recommended that every organization does the asset stock verification. Probably you're already doing to verify that particular asset is in the place where it is supposed to be, and it is in a usable condition. These two things are very important to make sure that that asset becomes a real asset, not a liability. Because if you have got a big asset and it's not working, that means it's a liability, right? It is not an asset anymore, it's consuming the space. So regular stock verification and periodic inspection will help you make sure that that asset is a real asset. In the third step, you are going to monitor the asset usage. That means if you have placed a certain asset at some place, you are going to track how often it is used. If it is not used, then probably it doesn't mean to be over there. And it needs to go to the place where it is better to be there. With the data in place, with the numbers, you will be able to track the asset usage. Then the next one is periodic evaluation of health of asset. Every asset, it's highly recommended that once a year, if not more frequently, evaluate the health. Because when you evaluate the health periodically, you will be able to find out the problems that are popping up. Every big problem starts as a small problem, or rather, most of the big problems start as a small problem. Take a building example. Why this evaluation is formal evaluation? I'm not talking about just going and taking a round like this. Not like that when you want it. A formal evaluation done once a quarter, where somebody takes the computerized asset sheet, goes to each room, does an inspection to see whether there is a leakage anywhere. And if there is a leakage, you are going to write it over there, because fixing that leakage is going to be much, much less expensive than fixing when the leakage becomes much bigger and affects the entire building health. So this system helps you tracking this periodic evaluation of your health of asset. Then the next step is maintenance, because some things like AC, somebody will come and repair it. Some things may need to be taken to the garage for maintenance. We all know that automobiles require maintenance, right? Similar to the automobile, there may be many items that require maintenance. And what is going under maintenance, where it is going, whether it is come back or not, if it has not come back, when it is going to come back, all of that you should be able to track it. The next step is the accounting step, because as per this accounting standards, right, you are going to maintain all your assets are to be maintained as assets, not as expenses. That means if I buy one, let's say a furniture, today it's costing 10,000 rupees, this particular table, and it will show as an asset of 10,000 rupees. Next year, proper depreciation need to be accounted onto that particular asset, so that the value of the table is no longer 10,000, it's going to be about 8,000, 7,000 or whatever it is as per the depreciation schedule. So when you have this kind of system and you are able to closely work with the accounting system, you will be able to make sure that what is the actual asset is in sync with what is being reported in the account books. Because this data is going to be part of the balance sheet. It will also have even the tax repercussions. Many of the education institutes are not-profit organizations, so that may not come. But in a company, if you do not apply the depreciation, that means your profit levels are higher. You are expected to pay tax on that profit, correct? But now, when you apply the depreciation, that much amount of the depreciation, it comes out of the profit, correct? Or the portion thereof, what as per the accounting norms. So that means you are truly projecting the reality into your account books. So that again, that is the need for this ERP-based accounting or inventory system. Then last step, end of life cycle stages. You are not going to keep an asset for a long time, correct? Because if you do not do anything with that asset, it will simply keep consuming the space. I have visited many places where not working assets are kept there because their practices don't allow disposal. Nobody knows what to do. Now, when you have a proper system, documented process in place, when the asset has reached the 10 years of its life, then officially you can write it off. Either dispose it off or sell it or do whatever it is required and then save that space. So again, this ERP system will help you in the asset disposal process and thereby generate a replacement. So this is the whole life cycle of this asset and inventory life cycle, which can be done within Easy One system over here. This area of inventory management is so big that there is an organization called Association for Inventory Management. That organization is called APICS. They conduct multiple examinations and the certifications over here. So one of the certification is certified supply chain management. Other one is CSCP, inventory management professional, CPIM, and multiple other exams. Because this inventory management really is a backbone of your actual assets, right? So that's why it requires very high prominence in making sure that your ERP system, the Easy One system, definitely has provided all these things, and you implement this for your organization. So when you implement Easy One for your system, for your organization, first thing is you will be able to barcode all your assets. You can use our barcoding system, print the asset barcode, and then paste it to each of them. When you have the barcode, then automatically next you can do the stock verification. You can even paste the QR codes also. And going one step ahead, very high value items, you can even implement RFID. That means whenever the asset is being taken out of that particular row, it will beep if it is not authorized to be taken out. So that kind of theft prevention mechanism you can implement. Because everything is in one system, you get a real-time dashboard. You'll be able to see what location, what the items are there. Automated alerts you are going to get for low inventory. What it means. Suppose you have got this. This is what highlighter. Central store room has got the highlighters. And every department puts a indent saying that for my department, I need 10 highlighters. I need this many papers. I need these letter pads. I need this many pens and so on. The central department which will issue those things. Fine, fair enough. But now, when it runs out, our software can help you track, okay, these are the items that are running out. And automatically it will generate an indent saying that, okay, you are running out of these highlighters. Last year, the entire university consumed about, let's say, 200, maybe a few hundred highlighters. Now, based on that history, you need these many more to be procured. So it can generate automated alerts. It will give a better visibility of what is there. And because everything is tracked thoroughly, probably the loss and misplace will definitely will come down here. You are going to be able to do a better planning here because you are not forced to buy the items at the last minute at a much higher price, right? Because you can buy much ahead in advance. So you are not going to be able to, say for example, these highlighters. If the annual usage is about 100 highlighters, you are not going to keep about 500 of them in the stock. You are probably going to keep only about, when the year begins, you will find out how many highlighters we have got. We have got 25 of them. What is the annual usage? 100. This year annual usage, 120 of them. So how many you have got now? 25 you have got. How much is expected to be, used in the year? 125. So if you want to procure for next 1 year, so how much you are going to procure? Already you have 25. You need 120, right? So you're going to procure 95 of them. That will cover about 1 year. So then what you do is you give a little bit many more over here, just in case of emergency, but definitely not more than 150 of them. So that way you can do the optimized inventory level planning here. Because everything is tracked here, you will have more time to find out who is supplying the things at a much lesser price. That means the procurement is faster and more efficient. And you are deciding the things based on the data. Not like, oh, I think we are running out of highlighters. No, not like that. You will say, okay, we in the beginning of last year, we had got about 120 highlighters, 100 were issues. Now, 125 we had, 100 were issues. Now 25 are remaining. You will be able to talk specifically in terms of the data. So overall, you are going to get a better visibility and better control. So with this, definitely, I hope you are very much convinced that you need a proper asset tracking system for your organization. And I'm very happy to inform that EasyOne has got a built-in asset management system in place here. I'm going to show you the demo of that now. Okay, so how do you log in over to the EasyOne system? It's very simple. What you would do is you will simply click on our URL what you got. Okay, so whatever is the URL you have got, you will click on that. You will see the whole system. It's open, however it can be configured. Then you will click on the menu. You will see the different applications here. Let me close all other windows so that it's a few things are only visible. Or otherwise, you can simply click on menu 2. You will see a lot more items here. See, why we named this application as EasyOne? This is one application that we want your organization should use to do everything. So that means we have built a campaign management system to attract more students. Then there's attendance, student master data, learning management system, examinations, timetable, attendance, all those things are there for the learning academic management. Then there is a fees collection, service desk, sales desk, inventory management, right? What I'm showing you to show you. Many more are there like this. So this is one system for your organization, including, of course, the library management. So now you'll simply click on the asset management. So in this first step, version 1.010 of inventory management, see, what I showed you is what all is going to come in future also. But immediately what all you can have. First is you will be able to define what kind of inventories you have got. You know, buildings, electrical appliance, computers, furniture, fixtures. So you'll first define all the kinds of products you have got, items, inventory. Then what you do, next step is that you will actually maintain those products. So, for example, see, we use this for our own office purpose. So that's why you have got easily 4.4 is listed here. If I say law software here, it lists out all the software that we make it available to you over here. You can even maintain the assets of the software because every year you are paying money for the software, right? If it is a subscription like EasyLib, you are paying us the money. Similarly, if you have procured the lifetime license, again that's an asset for you. Again, you can track that. So different assets you maintain: product code, product name, type, total quantity you have got, and what is the account code in the GL, right? Because this is closely linked with the asset management, correct? Right, in the accounting system. So that's why it's important that you maintain that account code in the GL, okay? And you have got the HSN. This is all the test data. So some of the things are all blanks here. HSN code is required. This is, of course, now with the GST in place, we have got the HSN for each of these items here. So that is the product master. Ones that don't require how many items you have got, individually you are not going to track, right? You can track at the product level, right? Say why, see, in easily software, right? We have built the software, we keep deploying it, right? But now on the other hand, if you are selling this particular thing in this one, you have got this, you want to put it as item 1, item 2, item 3. It may say kettle, but you will have 10 of those, right? And those 10, where are they? You'll be able to put a barcode for each of them. Of course, that's a small item, small value item. There will be many more, right? Like it's a projector. So you are not going to tell, okay, we are going to have the 20 projectors. You'll say projector 1, projector 2, projector 3, up to 20 of them. So that is all you are going to maintain in the item master here. Okay, so now if you see here, we have got simply added this data. Okay, how many chairs you have got? What is the chair number 1, chair number 2, 3, 4? Each of these. Let's evaluate once again. At the product level, you are going to maintain product code, product name, and the type of the product. How do you define the product type? It's all based on what all you have got. Whether the computers for sale, barcode, laboratory equipment, all of these kind of different items you have got over here. Correct? Item product types. In the product master, you are going to much more deeper level to specify each of the product codes here. So you have got the product name. Let me make it 100 and see over here. What kind of assets you have got? This is, of course, easily we fed our data. So a lot of software data is there. Okay. But now you are going to define ID cards, laboratory equipment. That's one of the product. Monitors, computers, network switch. These are all the different products you have got in your organization. Then for each of the item, whichever requires tracking at the individual level, you are going to give the item code here. CH001. That's the chair number 1, chair number 2, 3, 4, like that. Right? So now you have got all those things here. So now, typically when we deploy this software in your place, there will be at least 10,000 rows over here. And you will see a lot more reports, including this customized report. Say, for example, if I am interested, okay, show me the chairs. Okay, in our organization, if I think item name, if I say chair, if I take, let's see here, it's going to show the chairs that I've got over here, right? So item code, location, item name. So you can even see this hide and see product code, container, chairs, all that you are going to see here. So this product name, I'm going to see chairs. So these are the 7 chairs in our organization. So CH1, CH2 like this. Now you can go to our barcode system here. See, this is the beauty of EasyLib software, Easy1 software, because it's all integrated, right? You will be able to generate the barcodes the way you want. Say, for example, if I want, okay, I'm done. I'll just clear it up. All the data I'm going to clear. This is the sample data, right? Now I'll add it, either asset, Is it a student data? Then it will have the data of the student name, address, and all that will come. Say, for example, now it's a generic one. So I'm going to put it as PH001. I'm going to add it, right? I can choose a file. I can add that file and then go from there, or I can say PH001 to I can add to queue like this, right? Or otherwise, what I can do is I can simply go here. I can choose what I want. I can choose the format that I require, and I'll say XYZ, our college. And here I'll choose 00, 001, 02, 00, 100. I'll choose, and I'll say print. So you are going to print the barcode here because there I had put the accession here. So that's why it is displaying here ACCN, right? But if you don't put it, it's going to just give it as okay item number. So you're going to add our college and accession number, right? Instead of that item number. So if you want additional information like item name, that also can be printed here. You print it, paste it here. So this is where this barcode comes into picture here. Once that is done, then there is an acquisitions module we have got over here. Okay, currently, right now it is more strong on the library portion, but definitely there is a flexibility to add many am I audible? Is my screen shared yet?
Yes, sir.
Sana, can you respond?
Yes, sir, you're audible.
Okay, fine. So where were we? We were talking about this inventory, right? So I
Yes.
lost the internet connection for a moment. So let me start again here. Okay. So all right. So we were talking about purchasing cycle, right? So here this is more strong on the library portion, but definitely it can be implemented for everywhere, wherein we have got the complete department. What department? Accountancy department, what all it has requested. All that items will come here. Then you will be able to see the itemized request, customized request, and all that. Then you will be able to create a request for proposal, RFP. Then once you do that, you will be able to do a budget source, how much budget, from where it is coming, then there is a quotation entry and comparison. So you'll be able to choose an RFP. See, there are 4 vendors, how many, what all items have been ordered from this. Then you choose the vendor 1, vendor 2, whatever it is. Then you choose these are the people who have given the quotations, right? Compare the quotation. You'll be able to get a quotation comparison report. So you can place the item order to a particular vendor based on who has quoted how much. Then once you do that, as you get the items, or you are supposed to get it, you can create a purchase order. The in-depth purchase order, financial, quotation number, PO status, the whole process is there. For that, we are going to have a separate webinar altogether on the purchasing system. But right now, I'm just showing you only a glimpse of it. So you have got a purchase header, then PO lines are there. You may be able to even import these PO lines here. Okay. Then once you do that, then you have got the receivable items, what has been received, what has not been received. You will be able to create a GRN note, goods receipt note. Then based on that, you will have the different GRN here. So there are some of them real data here. You can see here, create the PDF, print the receipt here. You will be able to find out under this particular GRN what all items have been received here. So this is of course the test data. So you are seeing some errors here, but otherwise you are going to be able to get the complete report of what items are procured under where, right? So in that, I'm going to cover that in detail, purchase order thing. Then there is a purchasing report here. So stock verification, that those of you who are using the already verification, that particular portion is getting added here. Let me tell you, there is one thing, even though you see that only there are some 7 or 8 items in the screen here, in this 7 screens, but actually our pipeline has got about 20 of them. And I'm very happy to state that once you become a customer, you are going to get 2 years of free upgrade for anything that we do in the asset management system without any extra cost. So I request all of you, go ahead, place the order for easy one inventory management system. So gradually we will help you deploy the software, import all your data. There is an import also, item import. So you don't have to key in one by one. If you have got an Excel, simply give the Excel with all these items, the institute name. If you have got multiple institute, which institute has got it? Item code, item name, product name, all that thing we will have it. Yeah. Based on that, we will be able to import this data for you. Thousands of inventory items can be entered into Easy One system within a week's time with the import facility. And then if you want more and more reports, no issues. We have got a complete built-in module that talks about these SQL reports over here. That particular reports helps you dynamically generate the reports that you require for your organization. Here, so many reports which are not hard-coded in the system can still be generated here within Easily actually. Okay, so with this, I am going to conclude this webinar. Just to tell you, we have got nearly 300 customers who are using the many portions of Easy One software, especially the library one, and then many of them gradually starting to use the newer versions, newer modules like inventory, sales, relationship management, event management. That's one of the most popular one. Event management, I'll tell you, a few of the job fairs that were conducted, three of them with about 15,000, 20,000, and 18,000 registrations were all conducted using this Easy One software. So real system with about 20,000 people, in about registering for that thing in about 20 counters. Many of them have already you did it for your today's webinar. They all did it, and everything was managed within Easy One system, the inventory management system, the event management system. Like this, we are working on giving you the solid, rock solid one system for your entire operations of your educational institute. Either it could be a university or a college or a school. Just call us. We'll be happy to work with you and then get this started right away. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day. And below are our contact details. Reach any one of us. We'll be happy to work with you and modernize your asset management process over here. Thank you and have a wonderful day.